Hi and welcome. Today's podcast is brought to you by gluten and high fructose corn syrup. Thank you for joining us once again. What are we drinking today, Henry?
I am drinking Magma Flame because they finally got it back in at Doc's.
I've been drinking Pinnacle with vodka, Red's apple, peach, Mike's harder.
And then Mike's harder. He ran out of vodka, so he's been drinking whatever the heck we have available, which is randomly stuff. And now he's on Mike's Harder Black Cherry.
Two identical women walk into a bar. And a barfly just gawks at them. And one of the identical twins laughs and says, the alcohol is not affecting you, we're twins. And the barfly says, really, all four of you?
Alright.
From Milton Berle's Private Joke File.
Love Milton Berle.
I don't get 90% of the anecdotes.
A lot of those anecdotes are dated from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and 70s. Milton Berle looked a little bit. Anyway, okay. Today is our 49th episode. The penultimate episode of the second Doctor. Troutman. Yay. Alright. And, alright, it's the Space Pirates. Okay. It's 6 episodes. Ran from March 8th, 1969 to April 12th, 1969. The companions are still Zoe and Jamie. And the antagonists are... can't see around your arm. The antagonists are Cabin and the Space Pirates. That's not how you spell pirates.
What?
Wait, is that an A?
Yes, it is supposed to be.
Then that is how you spell pirates. Okay.
I ran out of
reach. Yeah. Alright.
It looks like an E.
Looks like an E than an R. Yeah. Alright. Pirates is a movie with Kevin Bacon.
Really?
Alright.
How do you spell pirates?
Pyrates. It's about a couple who every time they make love, a fire starts. And it's between Kevin Bacon and his actual wife. She's the love interest in the movie, so
I like Kevin Bacon. There's an actor that does that. He refuses to kiss anyone on screen unless it's his wife, and he uses a double. His wife put on the blonde wig. Who was that? Fireproof.
Right, Fireproof. That was in the movie Fireproof, and
I can't remember his name.
That was the guy from Saved by the Bell and the original Left Behind movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't think of his name.
Yeah. I can't think of his name either.
Anyway, reasonably good actor. Not great, but reasonably good.
Very
but
sweet.
I do like his faith. And if we think of his name, we'll mention it. But anyway, so back to Doctor Who. Alright, so this serial, like I said, the next to last, the penultimate serial for Troughton, the second Doctor, and next time we'll watch the final one, the War Games. This serial is notable for a number of reasons. First of all, it is the final reconstruction.
Last ever.
Reconstruction. All the rest of them from now on will be actual, or when we go back and watch some of the animated reconstructions, they'll be animated. But this is the last reconstruction we have to deal with, and is the only reconstruction from season 6.
Is that a monitor?
That's a TV.
It looks like a giant monitor.
Well, it could be used as a monitor with an HDMI cable.
It looks like
TV.
a computer monitor because it has a plastic.
Yeah, it's a TV. I've got a TV behind the camera. You've seen that before. It's been there for...
We'll use that for when we live stream.
For 10 months.
We'll use that for when we live stream. We'll have the comment feed and the video feedback.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't know where we're gonna live stream, but okay. Like anybody would watch us live stream.
Who wouldn't watch us live stream? A chance to interact with us live. It's a blessing.
Oh man. Anyway, so of the 6 episodes for the serial, 5 are missing. The only
5
ones
of them
are missing.
unnecessary.
Of all the episodes, only one still exists, and it's episode 2, which
one of them still exists twice.
Oh yeah. But in it, this is one of the few serials where you have to swap out with the Lost in Time box set in order to watch episode 2, because it was early on in the reconstructions, and they didn't have the ability to include the episode with the reconstruction, so we actually had to swap it out and watch the second episode off of this. Once again, last time we'll have to do it. Okay, the story. So apparently there's this weird substance called argonite.
Argonite.
Yeah, and it's a metal, and a bunch of stuff in the future is made out of it. Isn't argon like a regular element?
Argon's known.
Yeah.
Argonite is known for its conductive properties, something like copper.
Something, but
Very sturdy.
anyway, so it's the most expensive element in the galaxy.
The most expensive mineral.
Mineral in the galaxy. So the space pirates are going around and they're looting argonite stuff, which includes these space beacons out there.
Mm-hmm. Does it ever say what the space beacons are for?
Well, like regular beacons are probably to help guide ships through space, so they tell you where you are. Think of like a GPS satellite.
Okay.
Would be a good example.
Do you think we will have space pirates harvesting our satellites?
Eventually.
No, because Space Force.
Because we have the Space Force. the latest, the 6th and latest branch of the U.S. military, the Space Force. Okay, but it doesn't
We're gonna
matter.
have Space Marines. They're
Probably.
gonna fight Zerglings.
Oh no, that's Warhammer.
StarCraft.
StarCrack.
And Warhammer.
And Warhammer, yeah.
Space Marines are. Well, I guess they're also Space Marines in StarCraft.
Well,
They're just called
Well, yeah, but think of
Warhammer. 40K Space Marines.
Right. Wait, but did you ever see what was that movie?
Doom.
No, it's got Neil Patrick Harris in it. It's based off a Heinlein novel. Our phones are in the other room because we don't like being interrupted during the podcast. But I'm trying to get.
Except
Starship Troopers. Have you ever seen the movie Starship?
I've never seen Starship Troopers.
Add it to the list.
Alright.
Whatever your list is. Okay.
Add it to the movie list.
Neil Patrick Harris and a bunch of other people. Michael Ironside, I think is his name. Not the world's greatest movie, but a pretty darn good movie. But anyway, they have Space Marines in that movie. And the movie is done in a wonderfully, slightly futuristic, campy way. And you found your list?
Oh, that's my list of the companions. Yeah, I'm just looking for room.
Okay, do we need to transcribe that?
Maybe.
Okay.
I've done it once from the old notebook to the new notebook.
We need to get you another notebook. I
got pages. Look at all
I have a
the pages.
book over there you can use.
I'm about still got halfway through this notebook.
Okay, I've got a notebook over there you can use. Anyway,
I wanted to get like a really nice leather-bound Doctor Who notebook. I was shopping online. I also wanted to get a sonic screwdriver that was also a pin. I couldn't find one.
Okay.
Because that'd be fun, like a Doctor Who notebook with a sonic screwdriver.
There are a bunch of notebooks like that you can get, but
I found notebooks, but no sonic screwdriver pins.
I've got a nice notebook over there that I got from the hippie store in the mall.
Earthbound?
Yeah, Earthbound.
Yeah. They won't let you take pictures in there.
I've never tried. Why would you try to take pictures in there? Anyway,
they tell you not to.
But they've got nice notebooks from India, made in India, that are pretty cool.
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers, yeah.
When did that movie come out?
88, maybe 89, something like that.
Comedy?
Action war with a bit of comedy, yeah. I mean, Neil Patrick Harris, it's got to be comedy.
Funny man.
Yeah, and Michael Ironsides, which means the war bit. He was also in Highlander 2. All right. Hey.
We don't talk about Highlander 2.
It's
there can be only one movie.
Yeah, there can be only one movie.
There can be only one movie.
All right. So anyway, interesting serial. Like I said, last one that's Reconstruction.
The very last one.
And it's 15 minutes before the Doctor even shows up.
Longest ever running Showtime where the Doctor shows up.
Shows up, right.
Without the Doctor.
Yeah, at least at the time.
Not including the precursor to the Daleks Masterpan, which he wasn't in that episode at all.
Right.
Was that called the plane?
Right, but the precursor is called something different, which is
Message to the Unknown.
Yeah, no. Adventure in the Unknown? Oh.
Yeah, he wasn't even in that.
Mission to the Unknown.
This the very first episode, the only episode where he's not in it.
Well, technically, at the very beginning, they say something, and then it goes into it. So they're there at the very beginning.
Is that just like the previous series?
Right. It's cut from the previous deal, yeah. But they are technically in it. Anyway.
But in this episode, it goes through, what are episodes, like 22 minutes? The first 15 minutes, he's not even
24.
in it. 24 minutes. So
maybe 22 after you cut out the intro and the credits.
Yeah, and commercials, advertisements. The majority of the episode.
No, there's no advertisements at the BBC. Oh. And it's just straight up.
I wonder how their scheduling works. Because American television is exactly in 30-minute blocks usually.
Yeah, which turns out to be about 22 minutes.
22 minutes of show, 8 minutes of advertisement, and like 2-minute chunks.
In the United Kingdom, I think we've covered this, but anyway, in the United Kingdom, you pay a license to the BBC.
Boy, you got a license for that.
Right, a license, yeah.
Television license.
You do actually. You have a television license.
Which sounds ridiculous.
Right, but you pay like, I don't know, 50 quid a month or something, or a year or whatever. Mm-hmm. You get your license and that pays for all their programming. Which means...
Like their PBS.
Kind of, but it's everything.
PSA.
No, PBS. Public Broadcasting System. But it's all their channels. So... you don't have a whole lot of control over what does well and what does not. Like here in the States, if everyone watches, if everyone watches something, it does well because of the advertising, and that's capitalism. And if it doesn't do well, it goes by the wayside. Like
okay. What were you saying?
Okay.
Doesn't do well.
Like the new Batwoman TV show or whatever it is, or a bunch of other stuff, but. If it does well, then it'll keep going, like The Simpsons or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. That's capitalism. That's great. The good things do well, and the poor things do not. Mm-hmm. But in the British Broadcasting Corporation,
good for the consumer.
Yeah, good for the consumer. They don't have a choice over what gets made and what doesn't get made. It doesn't matter what the viewing figures are. If it does, it's what the BBC decides. Mm-hmm. And it's a bit more of a socialist system, but it's how the British Broadcasting Corporation is set up under the Royal Charter because they're monarchically controlled.
So archaic.
Okay. I love the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is eclectic and wonderful. But much of their style of governance, as well as their society, is very archaic. From the titles, the lords...
Like, tradition is fine,
like
but like when it actually gets into the legality of it, some things you just need to...
Well, right, they still have the monarchy.
Modernize.
I mean, we broke off of that monarchy in
It's a monarchy, but they have a prime minister... president, basically.
No, a prime minister with a House of Commons and a House of Lords.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, things have to pass both chambers in order to be law.
But what does the Queen ever do?
Okay, technically,
nothing.
The Queen...
She has like the power of veto, but she never uses it.
That is correct. I think I've told you that before.
They came out with this one law that she really hated, and then she came out publicly and she's like, I don't like this. But she didn't veto it, even though she could have.
Technically, the Queen has a representative in the House of Lords who can, at any time, he has to say oui or no. Being the French, that's how far back this tradition goes. Mm-hmm. When French was the language of the upper echelon of Britain, which allowed English to morph in the lower echelons of Britain to what we know it to be today. We're going back to like the 1500s, 1600s.
Chicken chaser.
Right. So, but no, anyway, this representative still says oui or no. If he says oui, it passes. Mm-hmm. If he says no, it's a hard veto.
But he never says no.
Not in the last 200 years. No. And in theory, the Queen holds absolute power. Realistically, she has not used that power in a long time, and if she did,
there'd be
there might be hell to pay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it depends on the situation. I think in the time of crisis or emergency, she could wield it and she'd be fine. I think in normal times, she daren't use it, you know? I mean, I'm a bit of an Anglophile myself. Hold on. Here's my good luck coin. And here's my good luck coin. A 1 ounce silver piece. Yeah. And it's got the Queen on it. Mm-hmm. A Canadian coin with Queen Elizabeth on it. So, I mean... You know, bit of an angle.
After Canada split from the United Kingdoms,
well, okay.
I'm confused.
Canada is its own country. Mm-hmm. Lots of countries are. The British Empire, literally the United Kingdom split off their empire into independent countries, mm-hmm. Especially after the Second World War.
Yes.
India, Israel, Canada, Australia, and a lot of other places. But a bunch of them are still part of the Commonwealth.
Yes.
The Commonwealth is still devoted to the Queen.
That has to do with the currency?
No. They have different currencies. But like that Canadian coin, they still have the Queen on them. They are still devoted to the Queen, and they are still a common area of trade, an area of culture.
So someone in the United Kingdoms would basically have dual citizenship if they wanted to travel to Canada?
No, they would just be allowed into Canada, but they wouldn't have citizenship there. To the best of my knowledge. It's just that there are special agreements amongst the Commonwealth for trade, for travel, mm-hmm. And they all are still devoted to the Queen. Now, it's the same Queen for the last 50 years, 60, 70 years.
Yeah, she's been a while.
Right. And the question is, once she passes away, because she's like 90-something, will the Commonwealth hold into Prince Charles's or King Charles's reign?
I don't think she will pass away.
You think she'll live forever?
I think she'll be a cyborg.
You're getting to Futurama territory. Alright.
She's gonna be a talking head in the jar.
Alright. Seriously. Back to Doctor Who. Alright. Okay, so Space Pirates. Episode 1. There's all all these people looking for Argonite. Right, which happens to be the most expensive mineral in the galaxy. It's made it makes the modern spaceships, it makes the modern beacons, it makes all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And there are these pirates that are going to government-controlled beacons and and basically stealing them mm-hmm. in order to harvest the Argonite to sell it back into the market. Mm-hmm. And they do this like 2 or 3 times in the first episode. And then the general, what's his name? General Harkin or something?
Hermack.
Hermack.
Nikolai Hermack. General
Hermack.
Nikolai Hermack. Hermack.
Okay, General Hermack, who's the captain of a V ship.
V41-LO.
V41-LO, which is a government ship, decides, well, we're going to abort our current mission and get onto these satellites because they're missing. So he decides to leave a crew on each of the 17 current satellites available.
About 4 people.
You're right, 4 or 5 people on each one. He leaves one on Alpha 4. And
Alpha 1 and Alpha 7 have already been
dismantled.
Yeah.
He leaves a crew on Alpha 4, and I think he's going to one of the other Alpha satellites. When the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe show up on
Alpha 4.
On Alpha 4 satellite.
What a coincidence.
Right, what a coincidence. And the crew has orders to shoot to kill anyone who shows up because they're not expecting anyone except the pirates.
Right.
So the Dr. Jamie and Zoe show up, encounter the crew, and they're shot at, and they run. And 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes of the episode before they show up. Yeah, kind of crazy.
Covering a lot of plot and pirates.
General Hermack, I recognized him from A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
Yeah.
He has a very distinctive voice. Love his voice. So anyway.
So at the beginning of the episode, they're covering, who the space pirates are and what they're doing. And they could have done that with, them harvesting the Argonite from just one Alpha beacon.
But they do it for
But
like
they do it for
3, yeah.
Just because it feels like they need more airtime or something.
Well, no, because they're showing the pattern. It's not just a one-off, I think. So the Dr. Jamie and Zoe are running away from the crew who've been stationed on the beacon by General Harkham. What's his name? Hermack.
So Lieutenant Sorba is on beacon.
Right. Lieutenant Sorba is the guy in charge. So
and then 2 or 3 guards.
3 other guards. There's 4 of them. So they run off and they get chased into one particular room, and then they block the door. While the door is blocked, the guards defending the beacon start cutting into it with a blowtorch. Then the pirates show up to Alpha 4, and they attack the guards and kill all the guards except Sorbo.
Basically,
they got him
some
down.
of the only deaths on this serial.
Well, it was 3 of the deaths. There's other deaths later.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Most of the deaths happened.
How far gone are you?
I think I might have fallen asleep at one point.
You did fall asleep
in
at least
episode 5.
once or twice. Yeah, episode 5. You are. He's not driving. His fiance is picking him up. All right. Anyway, so the Dr. Jamie and Zoe are in the room. The defenders get killed by the space pirates, and the space pirates blow the beacon into 8 pieces. And that's about where the episode ends.
Yes.
Okay. So episode 2, which is the only episode that currently exists, and it only exists because it was shot on 75mm film.
That's not the only reason it exists.
Well, there was, there you go. Okay, 2 reasons. One, it was shot on 75mm film, so it was kept in the archives as a first, because it was the first one on film, not on videotape. The second reason is there was an amateur videographer who recorded it on a camcorder pointed at the TV. But he had it in his archives, but it turns out when they went to talk to this guy who had it in his archives, They were hoping it was a different episode. It was the only episode that the BBC still kept when all the others were jumped.
Too. It was very historic and like holds the record for the longest the oldest episode in its entirety recorded by an amateur. One of the only. This is the same one they already had, though.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
All that for nothing.
But it was the first episode.
Just imagine how that conversation went. He's like, I have one. And they're like,
awesome.
That's worse quality than the one we
I was like, no, it's the only one we have. But it was also the first episode recorded
They're
at
like,
the BBC.
really? Wow, can we have it? Oh, that's not as good as the one we have.
Well, 75mm film is a lot better than videotape. And they will use that film stock a few other times, especially during the third Doctor.
But in color.
But in color. Okay, so, but it was also the first episode recorded at the BBC Centre rather than the old Lockwood Studios, right?
Production.
Better production value, better location,
Doctor Who's moving on up in the world.
But once
even
again,
though they didn't have a budget for monsters, which is why we don't have monsters.
Yeah, all humans.
The only reason we don't have monsters. Because if we did have a budget for it, there would have been monsters.
We're so out of practice at this. Okay. So, the last episode, I think I forgot to put the intro on.
I don't even know how to do.
Okay,
it's
you got
a long process.
You got to refresh me on how to do that. It's been
okay. Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah,
it's saved onto your computer, but
you got to refresh me.
It's a slow process, just because. We're getting new computers
next year. I'm getting a new computer next year.
I'll probably get mine this year. But it probably won't be as good as yours.
Mine's 10 years old now, but it still manages to do this. Anyway. Okay, so episode 2, the Dr. Jamie and Zoe are trapped in this 1/8 section of the satellite, or the beacon, because they all got split apart. But they were outfitted with rockets to go to a particular place. And the place is Taj? What's the name of that planet?
I don't know.
You didn't write it down?
I didn't.
Okay.
Nash, Gash.
No, Taj. Panache. Anyway, they go to this one planet.
It's Argonite mine shaft.
Right, Argonite. So they're in this room and they're trying to figure a way out, and they literally at this point have all the way to the second episode have not interacted with anybody whatsoever except to run away from the guards in the beacon at that juncture. But their oxygen is running out. The Doctor has a couple of oxygen canisters which he's slowly releasing to help them, but he's really rationing it. But he figures out that the couplings between these sections of the beacon are held together by magnetism. So he figures he can hopefully draw them together if he changes. He never says changes the polarity or anything, but if he works some of his magic.
He does pull out a visual aid of magnets.
Right, he's got a magnet in his pocket. Yeah. And he has a regular screwdriver.
Just so Jamie can understand.
Right. Well, Jamie's like 16th century Scottish.
He also has pin needles in his pocket.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Just because.
But, so he's going to try and do this. And Zoe says, well, wait a minute. What if they're not the opposite?
What if
they're the same polarity and you get shifted away? And he says, well, don't be such a pessimist. Yeah. So the Doctor does this, and he eventually gets it, and it is the actual same polarity, and so that section
jettisoned off to space.
Yeah, shunted off to space. Although it doesn't get shunted off from this way out. It gets shunted straight through the middle or something, which I found
It's the
odd.
circular, and then it goes this way.
Right, I found that very odd, but it gets shot off in another direction. In the meantime, we run into Milo. What's his last name?
Clancy.
Milo Clancy, who is
The old prospector.
he's the epitome of a Wild West prospector out in space. Like they
Like
just
a Western.
took a Wild West saga soap opera and put it in space.
Basically.
Well, they did. That was exactly the intent of this. He talks like a Wild West prospector. He acts like a Wild West prospector. He looks like a Wild West prospector.
He even
everything.
has the plaid button-up shirt.
Oh, and the mustache.
The curly mustache.
Yeah. Anyway, so the Space Force think he might be involved with the stealing of the satellites.
He's in league with the pirates.
Well, they
Space
think
pirates.
he's in league with the pirates. He's not, but they think he
Which
is.
he is.
Oh, they think he is.
He just next leveled him.
What? No.
See, that's my theory.
Yeah,
That he
no.
played innocent the whole time.
Yeah, no. Anyway.
He's the mastermind behind the operation.
Yeah, no. Anyway, so he had a whole bunch of Argonites stolen from his mines, and he's complained about it, but no one did anything. The Space Force, or the Space Corps, did nothing about it. And he's the last of these old prospectors.
Old timers.
Is still doing this. And they question him about it. General Harkin, what's his name?
Hermac.
General Hermac questions him about it. They board a ship. They think he's part of it. They let him go so they can follow him. Okay, so he, at the end of episode 2, ends up finding the doctor's piece of Alpha 4 and decides to dock with it and board it, possibly for salvage. Which is
He's
where
looking for them space pirates.
Right. He's looking for the space pirates. And he's breaking into the piece of Alpha 4 where the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe are. And that's where episode 2 ends.
Shot out the rivets.
Yeah, he shot out the rivets.
Which is a way better idea than the Space Corps had of, blow-torching their way through the entire door.
So, he gets in. Jamie rushes at him.
Krakatoa.
Yeah, Krakatoa. He shoots Jamie.
And he dies.
Well, you
That's
think
the
Jamie...
last of Jamie.
No. Jamie comes back several more times. He thinks Jamie's dead. You think Jamie's dead. That's where the episode ends. So episode 3, you find out Jamie's not dead. He was just stunned. And he says, he thinks they're the space pirates, Dr. Jamie and Zoe, and they're not. And finally they figure that out. At the same time, shots are being fired over his bow by the small ship.
Minnow.
The Minnow, exactly. From the big ship.
The V41-00.
You got the ship.
They sent out a minnow
Okay.
to track the Liz, which is a ship piloted by Clancy,
yeah.
who docked into the one portion of Alpha 4.
Yep.
And found the Doctor and his companions.
Yep. Okay.
He's firing warning missiles,
Yeah.
trying to get him to surrender. He's real anti-government, so he's...
Well, he's
Not
an old
going
Wild
to
West frontier guy. And
he's not going to surrender.
he was there long before the government was. Think of like California when it was a territory before it became a state. Lots of people went out there and made their fortunes, and when it became a state, they didn't like the government coming in, the statehood, the law.
Not anymore, though.
They love their law there now. Well, some of it. So
Urban.
yeah. So Clancy ends up. The shot gets fired up across his bow. He says, "Hey, you better come with me." Dr. Jamie and Zoe follow him into his ship, the Liz.
Which is a very old
Very 40 years old. It's a C class, right?
Commercial.
Not a license. It's just called C class. And they get out, and Liz leaves that piece of Alpha 4.
Yeah, Clancy's making his escape from the minnow.
Right.
The minnow's gonna fire rockets. Clancy has this ace up his sleeve, which is this fault in this newer technology, the targeting system,
Right.
which is their technology functions on this weird copper magnetic.
Well, no, it's
pins.
the Argonite.
Yeah, the Argonite
And
is like these magnetic pins. So he shoots a copper dart, and all the navigational pins.
well, he drops a bunch of copper needles into space.
Copper needles.
And the copper needles screw up the navigation system of the ship that was firing at him.
Yeah.
So they can't fire because it won't work. It'll just hit the needles. It's a lot like in World War II. They used to do something of the sort against certain. That's why they had those big dirigibles, those big balloons out.
The blow up, the decoys.
Right. Well, they were out because they screwed with radar. In the same way, his copper needles screwed with the radar or sonar on these ships. Which was shown very much as sonar.
Yes. They had another sort of radar, but he said it wasn't effective. And
Yeah.
it's like finding a grain of dust in a mine shaft. Can we talk about how, caltrops, the spiky things that ninjas use for samurais to step on?
Yeah.
Can we talk about how it turned into a children's game of jacks?
Okay. Ninja is plural, not ninjas.
Did I say ninjas?
Yeah. The plural is still ninja, like fish.
Ninja.
Ninja. Just
You
like
can
the
say
singular.
fishes if it's multiple breeds of fish.
Correct. That is correct. But you say
What if there are
you still
multiple-
say I caught 6 fish today.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say fishes, fish.
Yeah,
Ninja-
a sea full of fishes.
Right, like deer. You don't say deers, it's deer.
What if you have multiple breeds of ninjas?
No, ninja. It's still ninja. Wait, what are you talking about multiple breeds of ninja? We're all human beings.
How did caltrops ever turn into a children's game of jacks?
Of jacks? I don't know.
Who thought that was a good idea? Parents are obviously going to be stepping on those all day long. Like you think Legos are bad? Try stepping on a game of jacks.
Okay. Alright, so the needles. Okay.
He makes his getaway. He gets away.
So anyway, they get away. They go off. The pilot of the minnow has to be rescued by the V ship.
V41-0.
Yeah, and they go to Taj, whatever the heck the name of that planet is.
Ganesh.
No, not Panache. Taj or whatever. They go there because it's the last place they would ever look for him.
That's
For
where he has an
Clancy.
old mine shaft.
Because he was part of a corporation with him and Dom.
His own corporation.
Well, it was a partnership.
The Clancy Corporation.
But Dom disappeared, his partner disappeared, and the daughter who inherited Dom's
Madeline.
half of the partnership, Madeline, diffused it. She ended it.
But still secretly harbored her resentment and blamed Clancy for the disappearance of her father. Allegedly.
Well, no, but she gave it up at some point.
Allegedly. She said she gave it up, but really she's in leagues with...
So so he goes there and he tells Dr. Jamie and Zoe to stay in the ship, which they don't.
Of course not.
Of course not.
Because they think Clancy might be a space pirate.
Right. I think he might be part of it, but he's not. Stop that. Alright. Alright. So they head out into the mines on Taz or whatever the place's name is.
Gash. Oshkosh. Gash.
Gash is not a good word.
Gash.
Alright. They head out into the mines. They get caught by the pirates. Well, they get cornered by the pirates. And they jump down into a mine shaft, which happens to lead to a holding room, a prison, where Shabda, or whatever his name is, the sole survivor of the crew on Alpha 4. And they're like, well, wait a second. This guy is still alive. So they help him. The doctor takes a handkerchief, dips it in a bowl of water, and helps his wounds and helps him recover. And the doctor's like, well, wait a second. There's got to be another way in here because that shaft was way too problematic for like a bowl of water in this fragile bowl to survive. So there's got to be another way in. So they look around for it for a while. Oof. Pardon me. Okay. Good things come in threes. Alright. So they look around for a while for the door. Doctor has a tuning fork, of course, like he had the magnet earlier. The magnets to show Jamie the theory on the magnetism. And the doctor just can't find pardon me, the right frequency on the tuning fork. So Jamie eventually gets frustrated, rips it from his hand and throws it at the wall, and happens to hit the right note. So the door opens and there are a couple of guards there coming down for Sorba. I'm going to sneeze again, I know it. And so his guards coming down for Sorba happen to be there when the door is opening. And they're like, well, wait a second. But Jamie knocks the gun out of one's hand. And they manage to... No. Clancy's there when the door opens. He comes in, and the guards come following soon. Jamie knocks the gun out of one's hand, and they shoot that guy. Clancy does. And the other one gets away, though, and sets the alarm. So when he triggers the alarm, they're all trying to make their way up to the surface. We're well into episode 4. And Clancy knows the ways much better than anybody else. And he's trying to get to the main control room where he can meet Madeline. Eventually they make it up there. They evade guards here and guards there and everything because Clancy knows the tunnels better than everyone else because he helped dig them. They get to the control room and they approach Madeline and Clancy's like, look, we gotta call Space Corps. I mean, we gotta call these guys because the bad guys are here. Kevin and everyone else, they're here, the bad guys. And Madeline suddenly at the end of episode 4 stops him from calling them with a gun because apparently she's one of the bad guys. So they're stopped, and then Kevin and his guards come in the room and they take the doctor, Jamie, Zoe, and Milo prisoner. And they take them down several floors and they lock them in a room. It turns out to be a study. Madeline is not keen on murder, which is good. I mean, very good. She was okay with Kevin, like, pirating stuff and stealing stuff from Milo and stuff like that. Pardon me. But she's not cool with murder. The doctor, Jamie, Zoe, and Milo get shoved in the study. And it turns out they find Dom there. Dom is Madeline's mother. She thought he was dead. Everyone thought he was dead. But he was shoved in this room and kept alive by Kevin as a way to sow discord in the company to take it over, and as a way to eventually have leverage over Madeline. So she doesn't want to commit murder. She doesn't want him to commit murder, but he says, well, come on in. We're in episode 5.
Oh, good. This is it's a good thing I came back on episode 5 because I have so much to add. Because that's the one I fell asleep on.
So
I think I'm drunk.
Yeah, we're both pretty drunk. It's okay.
I think you're completely sober.
No,
I think you got some catching up to do.
Reasonably tipsy.
I don't think
into drunk, not quite into full drunk, but anyway. So Madeline, Madeline's like, well, I'm going to call the Space Corps and tell them the problems and
Space Force.
The Space Force, and tell them what's going on. Kevin says no because I've got your father. She says my father is dead. He says nope. Here's a picture of your father from 2 weeks ago.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. So she goes, okay. She tries to play off the call because she had already sent out a distress beacon to the Space Corps.
Space Corps.
Yeah, I keep saying Space Force. Like
Space Force.
Space Corps. She says, okay, do whatever you want, just don't kill my father. He tells Dervish, which is the guy, the explosives guy on his team.
Dervish.
He's the explosives guy.
Pirate engineer.
He
used to work with Space Corps.
Right, with the government, yeah.
But they didn't give him a pension.
Apparently, no, apparently he did something wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently he did something wrong once. And Kevin got a hold of it and blackmailed him into his pirate life.
One mistake. Is all it takes.
Yeah. So, yeah, seriously.
Who would blackmail you?
Okay, if you ever get blackmailed, own up to it. Otherwise, that individual will have control of your entire life.
Post your nudes on Twitter before someone else does.
I'm not on Twitter, but I can agree with that. Alright. So anyway.
A celebrity did that. Someone hacked their iCloud and they said, give me money or I'll post your nudes. And they said, I'll post them myself.
Who was it?
I don't know.
Sounds like it. I like that.
A singer, an artist. Demi Lovato? Miley Cyrus? Selena Gomez? Kesha? I don't know. One of those.
Somebody.
I just remember hearing about it on the radio. I said, this is a ballsy move.
True. Have you ever seen the movie Ransom?
What is it about?
Some guys kidnap Mel Gibson's kid. He's a rich man.
Taken. I've seen Taken.
No.
Baby's Day Off. I've seen Baby's Day Off.
Do with this. I've seen that movie too, but oddly enough, and I've seen Taken. But anyway, so in Ransom.
Why did you watch Baby's Day Off?
Because I was in China at the time, and it was Baby's Day Off 2 was the second movie in a 4-movie thing overnight at the movie theater.
Every movie that's not popular here is popular in China. The fact that Blizzard made money off of the World of Warcraft movie
was because of China.
This thanks to China.
Right,
even though it was horrible. Did you watch the World of
Warcraft?
It's like
the Terminator movies. No, I don't watch
bad.
I don't watch World of Warcraft movies.
Don't do it. It's
like
terrible.
the Terminator movies. I stopped watching them after
the first one.
Second one? I mean, Lissa wanted to see them. The one with the pyramids, whichever one that one was, where they're at the pyramids and destroy things. I don't know which one that was. Lissa loved those movies. Anyway, so this Kevin guy sets it up so Milo and Dom get in the spaceship and they're going to launch up towards the V-ship, and the V-ship will capture them, but they'll already be dead because it's going to cut off the oxygen, because they have a remote control.
You remember this a lot better than I do.
And well, you fell asleep. So
allegedly.
What do you mean allegedly? You fell asleep. So at the end of episode 5, beginning of episode 6, the doctor had run out of the spaceship looking for Jamie and Zoe. The spaceship takes off. The doctor kind of collapses due to the fumes.
Oh, he was right by the engines, and they're he's just trying to run away.
He was a little
from the rocket fire,
okay,
and it's just jettisoning all this smoke into his lungs, and he just collapses from the lack of oxygen and the smoke inhalation.
Once again, that's harder to tell in the reconstruction. Yeah,
well, this is what the captions say. We can assume such because he speaks like he's been smoking for 40 years.
That's true. The rocket takes off.
There's some smoke inhalation.
Dom and Milo eventually fall unconscious because they don't have any oxygen, and but then the doctor manages to help them by destroying the controller and then talking them through regaining control of the ship by getting rid of the remote control unit.
The extent of the doctor talking Clancy through this is cut the red wire.
Milo Clancy, yeah.
Clancy says,
"There's 1,000 red wires."
Yeah. So I'd like to credit Clancy with that. He figured it out on his, and he shocks himself. You didn't tell me the wire was live.
Well, that's the right one.
By the way, episode 4.
Wait, we're in episode 6 now.
Alright, we'll get back to it.
Alright, let's
finish the recap.
Finish up. So, essentially, there's a big bomb left on the planet that will blow up the entire planet, including the doctor.
Equivalent to 80
hydrogen bombs. Including the
word.
Doctor, Jamie, Zoe,
Which
Madeline.
hydrogen bombs are pretty small compared to the nuclear bombs we have now.
Well, it's true, but that's what they knew in the 60s,
yes.
you know? So,
that's a good unit.
It's going to blow up the whole planet.
What a terrifying unit of measurement that is.
Well, the most terrifying unit of measurement is megadeaths.
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 That's a band.
It is, and it was named after the most terrifying unit of measurement.
What is 1 megadeath?
It's 1 million deaths.
1 million deaths. That's relatively small.
What?
Considering nuclear holocaust. How many megadeaths are in one hydrogen bomb?
0.1?
Really?
The atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki each created about 100,000 deaths.
Now, why is that? Because didn't they broadcast, we're dropping a bomb here, and then people decided not to leave?
They didn't know the size or the potency of the nuclear weapon that would happen.
You ever see the Wolverine movie? There's mostly like Japanese troops and like military bases that didn't evacuate, I think.
No, I don't think I saw that Wolverine movie.
Me either. But there's a scene where Wolverine saves a Japanese soldier. He dives into a well and then he covers the Japanese soldier because Wolverine was scary.
Alright,
Doctor Strangelove, aka How I Learned to Stop Worrying.
And Love the Bomb.
And Learn to Love the Bomb.
Alright, Doctor Strangelove is awesome. Anyway, so, alright.
Even though he's only featured like very little in the entire movie, he's like in a couple of scenes, and the whole movie's named after him.
True, but still. Alright, let's finish the Doctor Who series.
I feel like, let's talk about movies.
Wait.
And the name.
Finish the Doctor Who serial, then we can talk about movies.
Well, the movies are on topic right now.
Alright, hold on.
Did you know? So, movies had strange titles and parentheses and such. I think that's attributed to the poor marketing research that went into it. People are just bad at naming movies back then. But nowadays, you have Disney and Pixar paying market researchers $700,000 salaries per year to name movies. And the person who named the movies Cars, got a $300,000 bonus for naming the movie Cars.
What the hell? Okay.
4 letters. It's a movie about cars. He says, we should name this movie Cars. According to my market research, made $100,000 that year.
Okay.
You gotta admit, Cars is a better title than Doctor Strangelove.
No.
Now I
Doctor
want to
Strangelove
stop
is awesome.
worrying and to love the bomb. Because when you go into the movie with that expectation, you think, where is Doctor Strangelove? He's in like 2 scenes of the movie.
Okay, no. Alright, in the 60s, subtitles for movies were very common. There's also the Vampire Killers.
Cars are in every scene of the movie. And Cars, hence, market research.
Okay. Once again, in the 60s, subtitles for movies were very common. Another one was the Vampire Killers, or pardon me, sir, but your teeth are in my neck.
Now that's not like a AAA title, though.
AAA?
Subtitles are popular for B movies.
No, Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
B movie.
No, they were done for a lot of movies. Okay, they're done occasionally today. Like, what's the one? What's the one with the female anti-hero? Harley Quinn.
Oh.
Harley Quinn or the Birds of Prey something.
What happens now is they have market research and they start to name a movie one thing. Live, die, repeat. And then they do market research and then they decide to pivot based on that research and they say, we get better results if we name it Edge of Tomorrow. But we already started marketing it as Live, Die, Repeat. So let's officially name the movie as Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat.
Well, Live, Die, Repeat was the tagline on that movie.
Yeah, which is what the name was until they pivoted to Edge of Tomorrow. And that came like 6 months into advertising the movie.
Lots of movies have...
Because people weren't really responding to
changed till the end, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not so much as subtitles. Episode 6.
Episode 6 of Star Wars. Return of the Jedi.
No, Doctor Who.
Alright.
So I just recently saw episode 9.
Oh, God, why?
By see, I mean I played it in the background while I was doing homework.
No one should see that crap.
Well, I have a friend who has a subscription to Disney Plus, which happens to be logged into the TV I had at home. So I was flipping through it, and I'm like, let's play the new Star Wars movie. And I like half paid attention to it.
It's crap.
It's okay. It is better than 8.
It's still crap.
I have my complaints. 8 was awful. 7 was pretty bad. 8 was the worst. So that sets the bar pretty low. So 9 being better than 8 isn't saying
still
much.
crap.
It's not saying much.
Alright, okay. Back to our story.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. So, the spaceship takes off under remote control. The Doctor helps Milo get it under control because they remove the remote control chip. Milo does that. He comes back, lands on...
It's going to be great for the audio.
Lands on Tar. Runs in, rescues the Dr. Jamie, Zoe, and Madeline from...
I just shotgun. Have you ever shotgunned a beer, Hattie?
I don't like beer.
Have you ever shotgunned anything?
I don't know. If I did, I don't remember.
It was the first time for everything.
There you go.
This should be on camera. Do you want to shotgun a beer on camera?
I don't like beer. Give me hard alcohol.
Do you want to shotgun... Ooh, you can't shotgun hard alcohol. It's basically like turning a beer into a shot. It's... You take beer, a low alcohol volume, and high quantity over a short amount of time, basically a shot.
Then what's wrong with just drinking a shot?
College students are very poor.
Okay. So Milo comes back, rescues Madeline, the Doctor, Jamie, and Zoe. They all run to a ship where Dom is...
The Liz.
Right. Huh?
Liz,
right. The name of the ship is Liz. They manage to escape, but the Doctor has he's disconnected the bombs that were left.
Yes.
So, what's the name of the little ship?
Liz.
No, not Liz. The little ship from the big one, from
the
V.
The Minnow.
Right. The Minnow fires on the pirate ship and destroys it. The pirate ship tries to detonate.
Do you know the name of the pirate ship?
The Brigadier.
Buccaneer.
No, the Buccaneer.
There you go.
They try to fire and destroy the planet, but since the Doctor's disconnected it, the bombs do not blow up.
During a sequence of several scenes that were way too violent for Australia.
Yeah, way too violent for Australia.
Way too violent for Australia. Which marks the end. Do you want to talk about our drinking game?
Hold on.
Okay.
Well, let's finish. So
we won't remember.
We will, but hold on. So the Dr. Jamie and Zoe and Madeline and Dom and Milo managed to finally get out of there because they did not blow up the planet, and the space pirates are all dead. And the Doctor's like, well, Zoe and Jamie are like, well, how do we get back to the TARDIS? And the Doctor's like, well, I'm sure Milo will get us there. So apparently Milo got them back to the TARDIS.
We'll see at the beginning of the War Games?
The War Games.
Next time, the War Games. So we'll see at the end. Episode recap. They hitch a ride on the Liz with Clancy to hopefully recover the TARDIS.
The War Games is a 10-part serial.
Otherwise,
second longest in the history of Doctor Who.
Otherwise, it will just mysteriously materialize in front of them.
And we will be seriously wasted after 5 hours of drinking with that. Like we were for the Daleks Master Plan.
Oh, woof.
Yeah.
Do you remember that podcast?
I remember about half of that podcast. Yeah.
That was I think I threw up in that podcast.
Probably. All right. What are your questions?
Why do the space pirates wear armor? Does that protect from?
You are correct. They did wear some really cool armor.
They did wear armor, which was a big set piece. There's a lot of costume design. However, during a confrontation with the space pirates and the Doctor and his companions, quite notably in both the stills and the captions, Zoe cracks a space pirate over the head with a vase, even though he is wearing a space helmet and he's rendered unconscious. Which begs the question, why the space armor if it...
I think the space armor...
If it can't provide protection from a vase, much less so can probably provide protection.
I think it provided protection from the blasters.
From these phaser...
Right, but not
space
necessarily
guns.
from the base. Not physical, but like laser beams.
So space pirates are basically wearing tinfoil hats.
Kinda, I guess. I'm rolling with this here.
Maybe they're
we don't know, yeah.
Refractory. But not so much for physical. You got cracked over the head while wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
Which makes the helmet seem pretty useless.
Well, that happened in a fun thing happened on the way to the forum as well.
We already talked about Argonine, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened on Funny Way Under the Forum?
There's a guy, he's an acrobat, he's wearing a suit, he's got a little helmet, and he still gets knocked out by a potted plant that's cracked upon his head.
A funny thing happened on the way to the forum is a very
Correct.
slapstick kind of
Comedy. Musical comedy, yeah.
very funny. I enjoyed that movie. We already talked about Argonine, right?
Mm-hmm.
The valuable ore
Mm-hmm.
mineral.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
We talked about the doctor not showing up for the first 15 minutes of the first episode,
Yep.
which I think holds the record.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. Episode 2 actually exists.
Yep.
Oh, let's just talk about the direction of this serial and the fact that the Doctor plus his companions never actually interact with most characters in this episode. We have these different plots going on with different characters, but they don't necessarily cross lines most of the time. So we have Space Corps, we have the pirates, and then we have the Doctor and his companion. Space Force. Space Corps. Space Corps. Space Force is what we
Right, Space Force is what we have.
Space Corps is what's
Right.
we
You
have
talk
Space
about
Corps
that.
with
I'm going to the restroom.
General
I'll be back.
Nikolai and Hermac.
Hmm.
And we have the Doctor and his companions.
Alright.
And then we have the Space Pirates. So there are basically 3 plots going on simultaneously.
You talk about that. I'm going to go to the
Which
restroom.
is why probably this is 6 episodes long instead of 4 episodes long. Are these 3 sort of intertwining, what's the word? Simultaneous plots. They don't really intertwine very much. We have, the Doctor he sort of ping-pongs in between these other 2 storylines. So we have Space Corps, which consists of probably Hermac and Sorba, Lieutenant Sorba, and Madeline, who's the chick with the metal hair, which is a weird costume design, but it's the future, so who knows? Maybe we'll be wearing metal hair in the future. So that's the one storyline. We also have the Space Pirates, which is frickin' Carvin, and his Space Pirate engineer Dervish, and the rest of the Space Pirates. So that's another storyline. And those 2 never really interact very much at all, except a few brief firefights. And then between those, you have the Doctor and his companions, which is like a 3rd main storyline for this serial. And all 3 of these storylines, the characters in them never really cross paths at all very much until maybe just a few brief firefights. They never really share dialogue. And they have a few firefights, and these plots never really intertwine until maybe episode 5 or 6, which is the majority through this serial. So it's definitely a departure from the classic sort of action sci-fi realm that Doctor Who normally relies in. This time, it's more of what you would call a soap opera, like a sci-fi soap opera. It's like It's like a Wild West Western sci-fi soap opera is what I categorize this as. Which is something very different, which I think because of this really complicated plot lines, the 3 different non-intertwining plot lines and the separate characters, is why this ended up being a 6-episode serial rather than a 4-episode serial. Also, the fact that it was reconstructed just makes it kind of drag on for quite a while. Reconstructed meaning that it was, based on a lot of stills and captions and not a whole lot of live video, which I'll admit we talked about earlier how I fell asleep during episode 5. But other than that, it's an interesting departure.
Okay, so where were we?
We're covering my questions and the fact how this is a Western sci-fi soap opera, which means it's kind of a departure from the classic Doctor Who action sci-fi.
No, but there are a few other Westerns.
But the fact that this had like the different plot lines, you had the Space Corps plot line and the Space Pirates plot line, and then the main Doctor Who and his companions plot line, and how those characters never really interacted very much. They're 3 separate sort of soap opera, self-contained characters and plots.
True, but I mean, the Doctor went to the Wild West in
he met
gunfighters,
Doc Holliday.
And they thought he was Doc Holliday, yeah.
They thought he met Doc Holliday, and they thought the Doctor was Doc Holliday.
Right.
You like Tombstone? You watched Tombstone?
I watched Tombstone.
Good movie.
It was good. Val Kilmer was amazing.
Val Kilmer is great.
I love Val Kilmer, but...
You ever watch Saint?
I like The Saint. But Val Kilmer's... he was just fantastic in Tombstone.
He was... probably his best role. Have you seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Yeah, but...
I would describe... Val Kilmer's career started up here. And kind of had he did really good movies, had a steady decline, and then you would describe Robert Downey Jr.'s career starting down here, and he had sort of meteoric movies, and then a steady incline, to where he's now a top actor, and Val Kilmer's like he's not a very common actor, as he sort of gained weight and he took on lower budget movies, and so he's going, Robert Downey Jr. is going like this, and Val Kilmer's going like this, and they meet right in the middle in that movie where they both act side by side is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's at the decline of Val Kilmer's career and the rise of Robert Downey Jr.'s career. And it's just like this snippet in time where they're both equal and they're in a movie together.
Right, but Robert Downey Jr. was great in Weird Science.
I haven't seen that yet. It's
on
the list.
It's on the list. I'm going to show it to you. He was also
Science.
Great, of course, in Iron Man, those Avengers movies.
He started this Marvel Cinematic Universe, solely credited. The Hulk movies came around first, but no one talks about that.
Well, no, the first Hulk movie they had Edward Norton. And
but it has been decanonized. Yeah, they had the one that is canonized also had a different actor other than Mark Ruffalo, but once Hulk came into the MCU, they switched it to Mark Ruffalo.
Right.
There's been 3. They had the one, which was decanonized. They had the reboot, which was a different actor, which is canon. But by the time Hulk made it to the MCU, they switched the actor once again to Mark Ruffalo.
Okay.
Which is confusing.
Okay, the original stuff was...
Yeah, what's his name? The bodybuilder who was in I Love You Man. You ever watch I Love You Man?
Yeah, I've seen that. Can't think of his name.
I can't think of it either, but he was in that.
Well, and then the next one was Edward Norton.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one was Mark Ruffalo. Oh.
There's one in between those.
I don't know. Okay, but anyway. What the hell? How are you so far off topic always?
That's not off topic at all.
It's all off topic. Okay.
Let me read my next
Okay,
quote.
back to Doctor Who. What the hell did you talk about while I was gone? I don't know.
The plot lines and stuff. Oh, so let's talk about how the Doctor was messing around with some circuitry. He found a live wire. He set up a booby trap, which was this electric field thing.
Yeah, it was like episode 5, yeah.
A space pirate walked into it.
And died.
Yeah, which is...
Why had to be electromagnetic field?
Oh, which is...
Come on.
Where are you going?
I'm going right here.
For a while.
Well, for this, because we don't use this.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to get a frame.
We're supposed to get a frame, and then all the crappiness happened with the whole
Travel.
Wuhan coronavirus.
I get 10% at my place of employment for picture frames.
What? Okay.
Which is the worst discount ever.
That's
Except
the second Doctor, we're almost done with the second Doctor. We'll go to the third Doctor soon, but I'm going to get a frame. We're going to put it here.
Hartnell, Troughton.
Wait. Yeah.
Pertwee?
Yep.
I'm getting it.
Hartnell, Troughton, Pertwee. Pertwee's the gentleman's doctor.
He's coming out. And he's one of the longest.
He ran 5 seasons, so he's one of the longest.
Who's 7 seasons? Okay.
Tom Baker.
Tom Baker's 7.
Here. Bottom.
Tom Baker.
Tom Baker.
7
the
seasons.
Scarf. 7 seasons. The longest running doctor.
Do you think he's your favorite just because he's the longest
No,
running?
he's my favorite because he's bloody awesome.
Now,
I
was on a road trip, and I had a CD of NF's Mansion in my CD player, and there's this like 3-hour stretch when you're going from West Texas to East Texas to where you have no phone signal, no radio signal.
Are you on like 20 or 281?
Either way,
Okay.
there's this huge dead patch of no service. Like your radio channels, you get like 2 radio channels. It's like this god-awful twangy western and some NPR AM radio station. And so you go to your phone, you try to pull up Spotify, no phone service. And I had this one CD in my CD player, and it's this one rap artist. And the first time I listened to it, I'm like, I'm not a fan. But I had 3 hours and no service, so I just listened to this one CD on repeat, just because it's the only thing I had to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into it like, I remember listening to this and I wasn't a big fan, but I don't have anything else to listen to. Cut to 3 hours later, I'm the biggest fan. The CD's awesome. After listening to it 3 hours, I'm like, I like it now. It's super catchy. I can't help but wonder, maybe it's just the constant exposure and the familiarity that caused, the catchiness to sort of click in my head to where all of a sudden I really like the CD. I wonder if maybe that's the same thing with Tom Baker.
No. Tom Baker's awesome.
After 7 seasons, are you not just like, this is the best doctor ever?
No, he's the best doctor ever because he's the best doctor ever.
All right.
He ran 7 seasons because he was the best doctor ever.
There you go. And would you consider?
In the alcohol.
Would you? I shotgunned it. Would you consider Jamie the best companion ever? Because he's the longest running companion.
Jamie
and McGuigan.
Sarah Jane Smith.
Redhead.
No, she's not redhead. She's brunette. And Captain Jack.
Captain Jack. That's the one.
Those 3. Jamie, Sarah Jane Smith, and Captain Jack. And I would be hellishly hard pressed to choose a favorite amongst those.
Choose one.
All awesome. Choose
one.
Hellishly hard pressed, I said.
I'm pressing you.
They're all
hellishly
amazing. They are all amazing.
So you would say first place is a 3-way tie?
Yeah.
All in their own
They're all for them.
respects.
2 old school, 1 new school. Well, Sarah Jane Smith was in both, but yeah.
You wouldn't consider Sarah Jane Smith as like a Mary Sue?
No, she was not a Mary Sue.
I'm just asking.
She had her problems and
Bullshit
faults.
questions because I haven't.
Clara was a Mary Sue.
I haven't seen any of these.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
They're basically writing prompts. I'm asking you.
The third Doctor, Pertwee, is Sarah Jane Smith shows up during his tenure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was later on.
No, she shows up during him, and she stays for a good bit of the 4th Doctor.
Baker's the 4th Doctor? He's the 5th. Who's the 4th?
Tom Baker's
two,
the 4th, the one with the
3,
scarf. No. 4 is Tom Baker, the one with the scarf.
4. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3.
No. 1 is the old guy.
Yeah, 1 Hartnell, 2 Stroud.
2. 3 is Pertwee. 4 is Tom Baker.
Okay, that's why I had it wrong.
Okay. And then 5th is the guy with the stinking lettuce.
Celery.
Yeah, celery.
I'm gonna cosplay as him. What is his name?
Davison.
I'm gonna
Davison.
cosplay as Davison. His first cereal, I'm gonna have.
You'll have to dye your hair, but you could do
No,
it.
I'm not gonna dye my hair, but I'm gonna come into the podcast with celery stick pins in my lapel,
yeah.
lapel.
But that's the 5th Doctor. Okay, so my main watching group is on. No. Right there, Megalos. No.
Megadeth.
No. Next one. Megalos, yeah. Wait. Yeah, right there. It's on that. And we have lost ground because we haven't done these many episodes.
We're still
But
catching.
the main watching group has been chugging along through most
A
of
lot
the
of things happen. Personal time off, vacation,
stupid pandemic.
move
yeah.
times, cleanses,
Yeah.
pandemics.
So
We're back on track. Welcome to season 7. What are we on?
what?
Season
6 of Doctor Who.
Drunk Doctors season 3.
3, yeah, sure, season 3.
Alright.
But yeah, no. Hopefully we'll start catching up again to the main group and eventually pass them up.
Did you get this from Lubicon?
Yeah, I got it from Lubicon.
Cool.
I got all the doctors. They're all in here. It's awesome. Yay. And I'll get a frame and we'll put up the doctor at some point, but stupid amounts of things are shut down right now.
I have 10% off at my place of work.
Where do you work?
Home Goods.
Home Goods.
For now. I have an interview on Wednesday.
Target. Target.
But we're going to school for IT support.
Cool. What other questions do you have?
We're talking about the doctor and his electro trap, and that how a pirate walked into it and potentially died, probably?
Yeah, he died.
Is this the first ever case of the doctor killing someone?
No, he's killed other people before.
Who has he killed before? I know he's jettisoned, a lot of alien species to genocidal. He's doomed a lot of Daleks and Ice Warriors. He jettisoned into the sun, but like actual humans.
Remember the Roman he beat up?
He didn't kill the Roman, did he?
Well, we don't know, but I suspect he did.
He threw him out a window.
No, he beat him with a staff.
Yeah.
And the other guys beat him too.
And then he tossed him out the window, I thought.
That was a different guy.
That was the
guy
Roman.
Right, I'm talking about the guy who...
The guy that was supposed to assassinate him because they thought he was a harp player.
Well, this is a different guy.
This is Hartnell.
Right, Hartnell who... But there was a different guy who he had him press ganged into working on the roads.
Oh, yeah. Well, he wouldn't have died.
We don't know. I think he did.
No, I don't think he did. He just karate chopped him in the back of the neck. Which, as far as action films, usually means incapacitated, not fatal.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the action film equivalent of the Vulcan nerve pinch that just knocks him out. I don't think this is a on-camera death. The karate chopped to the back of the neck.
I don't know. The doctor's done such things.
But he basically killed a space pirate. He's killed ice warriors with his solar guns. He's definitely doomed some Daleks. But usually, when we're talking about real humanoids, it's more incapacitation and outwitting and outsmarting, and not normally setting up fatal booby traps.
But he's done that on occasion.
Yeah. Can we talk about Madeline's metal hair and how that fashion hasn't caught on yet, but it should. And why it should is because I'm sure you'll get a great reception with a metal hair wig.
Well, this was in the 60s.
Yes, hair was a big thing in the 60s. The big pompadour, and the big flute, the bouffant.
Okay, in the 70s and in the 80s, but occasionally you would see someone with that kind of hairpiece. Mostly in movies or TV shows, like The Fifth Element.
Yes. Oof.
Or Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Mad Max
Beyond Thunderdome, that kind of stuff. But it wasn't very common.
2 men enter, 1 man leave.
Well, yeah, exactly. But
are there 3 Mad Max movies?
Road Warrior, Mad Max,
the Thunderdome,
Beyond Thunderdome, and
Fury Road. There's 4. Have you seen
4.
Fury Road?
I did.
Did you like it? Does Fury Road even have Mel Gibson in it? I've never seen it.
No, it does not have.
Is that a prequel?
No,
it's a sequel.
They replaced Mel Gibson with a new actor.
Does he play the same character?
It's the same character,
but a new actor.
But he's a side character. He's not the main guy.
I'm super confused when it comes to Mad Max.
They made him a sidekick to I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, feminism, and
remember
he's sidelined to the.
It wasn't Road Warrior, and it wasn't Beyond the Thunderdome. It was, I guess, was it Beyond? Remember the kid with the boomerang?
That was the second one?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was the second one. That was Mad Max.
Mad Max.
I think.
Road Warrior, Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome, and Road Warrior.
And then what's the latest one?
Fury Road.
Fury Road, yeah.
Is the 4th one.
They replaced Mel Gibson with another guy, and they made him a sidekick to all these women, and it is what it is, and it's fine.
How do you feel about Mel Gibson?
Like Mad Max, huh?
How do you feel about Mel Gibson? Was he at least a creative consultant on Fury Road?
Mel Gibson's okay. He's a decent actor. He's a decent guy. And he's done some great things like the
Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ. But like everyone else in this world, he has some demons. The demons are apparently anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic.
Who is that married to?
I don't remember who he's married to, but everyone alive has good and everyone alive has bad.
Thorn in their side.
Correct. And those demons haunt all of us. And the problem is that modern cancel culture will cancel anyone for any reason whatsoever.
I'm really struggling.
We all have demons. We all do.
I'm really struggling to keep up with current political, social themes.
I don't want to make this podcast political.
It's not political, but
I don't.
Objectively,
so political crap
non-politically, explain to me what cancel culture is. Because I don't understand what it means.
It's so political.
Because I understand other cultures that have been defined, but I have yet to catch up on what cancel culture is.
I don't want to.
You don't have to. I'll Google it later.
Okay. I'll tell you after the podcast because it's so political. No. It's worth talking about, but it's so political. So political.
Here's my view is entertainment and comedy should be utterly divorced from all political and religion. Like, unless your career is basically one of those political commentary people, like on late night television, I don't understand why Hollywood, every single movie has to have some sort of political or social commentary. It's like, we go to watch movies like Star Wars to escape from the everyday. It's not a moral obligation for these companies to, in everything they make, to make a moral or political or social commentary on what's going on. It's like, I just want to watch people fight with lightsabers. So we won't do that here. I think that just about covers all my questions. Oh, next episode is the very last season finale and the Doctor finale of Troughton. Yep. Which brings us to our very last black and white episode because our third Doctor, what's his name? Pertwee. Who did the guy on the reconstruction? How did he pronounce it? Pertwee, yeah. Pertwee. Is in color. He's in color.
Right. It goes directly from black and white.
Even though, ironically, you'd consider him the least colorful Doctor. No. In his penguin suit.
No. He's awesome. He's a gentleman's doctor.
He's awesome, but he's the least colorful because you have this.
What do you mean the least colorful?
He's wearing a penguin suit.
No. He's awesome. He was a spy.
I don't mean like
WW2.
I don't mean like personality colorful. I mean, outfit with style. Let's talk about his styles.
Wait till you see him.
I haven't seen him yet.
In his first,
I'm withholding judgment.
In his first serial, he's in a shower and he shows off his tattoos.
Ooh.
And that's the first for the Doctor.
Ooh.
He got those tattoos during WW2,
How does that work as he regenerates? He regenerates with tattoos? He regenerates. He's in a different dimension of time. He goes through World War II, gets tattoos, and then he comes back to the companions of when he regenerates to...
No. We lose Jamie and Zoe in the next serial. Yeah, spoilers.
Oh, I thought Jamie was like a really long-running companion.
Well, he has been for 3 bloody seasons, for 100-something episodes.
That's more so than Hartnell's Ian and Barbara,
yeah. Jamie is the companion with the most episodes in the entire history of the show.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems really not that long.
3 years of 40-something episodes per season. Yeah. It's 120-something episodes.
I am blown away. I didn't know Jamie's been around this long.
Yep. The second Doctor's second serial. And if you include Sarah Jane Smith's spin-off show, she was there for more, but
because
you can't include that.
Canines and stuff.
Well, yeah.
Sarah Jane's was a different spin-off than the Canine spin-off.
Sarah Jane Adventures and Canine and Company. She was in both of them. But you can't include that because it's not part of the main show.
That's not part of the main show.
Right.
But
This is like the longest.
Normally, companions don't last as long as the doctors do.
Normally, yeah.
Normally.
Most companions last about
Which
a year.
puts
a year and a
companions
half.
in these weird transition periods where they're in between doctors.
Well,
Shortly.
sometimes they cross over doctors.
Sometimes they cross.
It's a big thing.
Like Barbara and Ian cross, which is
No, Barbara and Ian were still the first doctor.
That's true. All right. Anything else, Tanner? I think we just about
No,
covered
I'm
it.
asking you though. Do you have any other questions?
I think we covered it.
All right.
Next time,
We'll see you next
the
time.
war games, the very last black and white. We finished all reconstructions. The very last
Black and
Trouton.
white cereal, the very last Trouton cereal.
Thomas Trouton. He's my favorite so far.
Thomas Trouton?
Trouton.
Trouton, not Thomas.
Who's Thomas Trouton?
No one's Thomas Trouton.
I didn't say Thomas.
Sure. All right.
All right.
Goodbye.
We'll see you next time
Yay.
for
Hat-trick.
the war games.
The war
The
games.
very
Hat-trick
the
Trouton.
season finale and the doctor finale of
The
Trouton.
second doctor.
Patrick Trouton. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.